Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in the world. We'd like to present to you two articles of interest. Before I do that, I would like to first thank all the people watching on Facebook Live, and also the people watching a recorded version on Facebook Live as well. Also, the people watching the recorded version on YouTube, Rumble, Dailymotion, and Vimeo. I would also like to thank you for watching this as well. Now, before I read the article, as a disclaimer, I would like to let you know that this is for review, informational, and educational purposes. It is not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. The full credit to the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, which in this case is XDA Developers, and the story by Rich Woods. The headline reads, RIP, which stands for Rest in Peace, Windows Gaming Handhelds. Valve will let you install SteamOS on anything you want. That's a big move, isn't it, guys? Here's a couple of important points for this article here. Lenovo announced a third-party gaming handheld device that can run Valve's SteamOS. SteamOS Beta will allow installation on any device, including Legion Go 2. Windows 11 isn't optimized for gaming handhelds like the Legion Go and ROG Ally. At CES 2025 today, Lenovo announced for the first third-party gaming handheld to run Valve's SteamOS, something that's pretty exciting considering that Windows 11 really isn't optimized for the form factor. However, the upcoming Legion Go 2, which is also shown off, but in its prototype form, is going to be Windows only. The good news is Valve is actually going to let you install SteamOS on it. And ahead of you is a picture of this device. It says SteamOS everywhere. So its caption reads Steam Deck Half-Life in Hand, copyright provided by XDA developers. The company has a beta coming soon. Let me just refresh the page because I don't know why they put certain things on this advertisements. Okay, let's continue. Yeah. So caption reads Steam Deck Half-Life in Hand, copyright provided by XDA developers. The company has a beta coming soon. The author says, I was told at the show you'll eventually be able to install it on anything that you want. Up until now, there's only been unofficial ways to install SteamOS, but Valve was pretty clear. It wants SteamOS running on everything. The representatives that I spoke to were very excited that Lenovo is shipping the first gaming handheld that's been made by someone other than Valve, and there was more devices in the pipeline, and if an OEM chooses Windows instead, their solution. So OEMs, by the way, just in case you're not familiar with the acronym, stands for Original Equipment Manufacturer. But that's Valve's perspective. From the perspective of the consumer, Windows 11 simply isn't designed for the form factor. When you boot up something like Legion Go or Asus ROG Ally, it boots straight to desktop and then it'll load a custom launcher that's designed for the OEM. Fortunately, that custom launcher still can tend to be a little buggy because it's still running on top of Windows. Microsoft is working on some optimizations for the form factor, but I don't think it's developing a full shell put on. Let me refresh this again because I don't like those stupid commercials. Stupid things there, yeah, sorry. I know it's just an advertisement, but I don't want this to be flagged because of some stupid advertisement. Yes, so anyway, as I was saying, Microsoft is working on some optimizations for the form factor, but I don't think it's developing a full shell to put on 8-inch screens, and if it is, it's pretty far out. The solution would be simple enough for a company with the kinds of resources that Microsoft has. It has a version of Windows it uses for Xbox, so much of the UI is already designed. Obviously, UX development is more complicated than that. But again, virtually limitless resources. There are some compromises that come with the SteamOS, given that some games are only on Windows, or at least run better on Windows, but at least you have the choice. And choices are good. So that will do it for that first article. I do apologize that I had to keep rebooting. Why do they have these stupid, like, it's not, I know it's an innocent thing, but still, I don't want to be, because this is for the general public. So, right then, okay, nice. Okay, very good. Just want to double check we're still recording. Okay. Now, before I read the second article, as usual, I would like to let you know that this is for review, informational, and educational purposes. It is not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. The full credit to the intellectual property of the article, excuse me, goes to the publisher, which in this case is Al Jazeera. And the headline reads, Trump announces 4 new executive orders, including to build, quote, Iron Dome. Ahead of you is a picture of President Trump at the Congressional Institute, looks like. Caption reads, President Donald Trump speaks at the 2025 House Republican Members Conference dinner at Doral, Florida on January 27, as per Mark Schiefelbein slash EP photo. United States President Donald Trump has announced he would sign an executive order calling for the construction of a, quote, Iron Dome missile defense program. On Monday, Trump addressed a retreat for Republican lawmakers at his South Florida Gulf resort, the Trump National Doral, Miami, where he pledged to bolster U.S. military assets with an executive action later in the evening. Quote, we have a strong defense, Trump said at the podium. Quote, and in a little while I'll be signing 4 new executive orders. The first he explained was to, quote, immediately begin the construction of a state-of-the-art Iron Dome missile defense shield, which will be able to protect Americans, unquote. 2 more orders, he added, would be aimed at removing diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is the acronym DEI, initiatives, and getting, quote, transgender ideology the hell out of our military, unquote. So because I'm doing a review here, I happen to wholeheartedly agree because it definitely doesn't have any place. I mean, if you're a private citizen and you choose to do that to yourself, that's one thing if you're an adult. But whenever you're dealing in a public capacity, then you are subject to the government's whims and government's decisions on things. So that's what it is. Of course, yes, of course, I don't agree that transgender is something that makes any moral sense. Also, is not appropriate for the military. So anyway, let's continue on. A fourth order would reinstate service members who were discharged for refusing to comply with mandates during the COVID-19 pandemic. About 8,000 members have been discharged for that reason between August 2021 to January 2023. So that was the other issue, is people didn't want to take the vaccine, so they basically kicked them out of the military, let them go. Trump framed the actions as necessary to ensure that U.S. has, quote, the most lethal fighting force in the world, unquote. Yes. Um, a lot of companies, not companies, but countries, that is, they're relying on the U.S. to protect them. So it does make sense. And also, of course, U.S., just like any country, has a right to defend themselves. A flood of executive orders. Monday's announcement marked yet another ripple of tsunami of executive action Trump has undertaken since returning to the White House on January 20. According to officials, Trump signed a record number of executive actions on his first day in office, amounting to a total of 42 orders, memoranda, and proclamations. Now, ahead of us, we have a related video entitled Trump Military Executive Orders Will End DEI, Creating U.S. Missile Defense Shield, as per NBC News. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this back to the beginning. I'm going to unmute this. I'm going to show you this video now. It's only a minute 37, so it's pretty quick. And you're welcome to come to your own conclusions. And my job is just to show you the facts, and you can come to your own conclusion about it. So, what I would suggest is that you pay attention to the facts and details. And if there's anything for me to comment, I will do so accordingly. So let's start. Make sure we have this up. Actually, we didn't even have this up. Sorry about that. And let's continue. Breaking news out of Washington as well. President Trump is set to sign multiple new executive orders. It's a little bit loud. See him right there. See this guy? He looks like he's some sort of general. That is the Air Force uniform, and this is the, I believe, the Secretary of Defense. Looking sharp in that suit. Oh, sorry, guys. Yes, so guys, what do you think of that? Yes, I think it's under the common sense category when you say, okay, men should not be with women in the same place where you bathe as women is with men. So I think that's a fair statement, but you guys can come to your own conclusion. But to me, that's quite reasonable. I think a reasonable person would, of course, agree with that statement. So let's continue on. Many of those initial orders pertain to immigration and social issues. For instance, he had to move to end birthright citizenship, a constitutionally protected right that endows anyone born in the U.S. with citizenship. Guess what, guys? It's much more complicated than that because what they were referring to in, I believe it's the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, was referring to actually slaves that came here as slaves that were serving on a farm in the southern United States, and some of them were in the north too. They had different situations. They had something that was they called slaves, and the other thing what they called indentured servants. So slave is basically they were brought here, bought, and forced to work on plantations. Indentured servant just basically means a person owes somebody else, so they work to pay it off. Okay, that's called an indentured servant. Um, Let me just refresh this because I don't know why they have some inappropriate. To me, it's inappropriate ads. But some of the early executive orders overlap with those unveiled on Monday. He called for the end of government DEI programs, which he accused of perpetrating illegal and immoral discrimination. He signed another order declaring that male and female gender identities are not changeable. Well, technically, actually, it's just scientific fact there because that is determined by your DNA. So you're either XX, which is a woman, or XY, which is a man. Okay. So that part cannot be changed. You can change the characteristics, but you cannot change the actual DNA of somebody in that sense. It's set about when you're born, so that's what it is. But the latest raft of orders deals directly with the makeup of the U.S. military and its strategic priority. Monday's orders, for example, echo a transgender military ban, as he has in quotes, that Trump pursued in 2017 from the first time, or his first term in office, that is. That ban was later reversed by President Joe Biden in 2021. Well, these are people with opposite ideologies. But whatever, I mean, to me, I don't care about Republican, Democrat. I care about, okay, does it make sense? Is it common sense? Is it moral? Is it ethical? That's what I care about. But I'm just speaking for myself. I take it there's probably lots of people who think the same way as me on that issue. However, you're welcome to come to your own conclusion about that. An estimated 8,000 service members are transgender, although may fear to identify themselves publicly. The executive orders Trump unveiled are coincided with the Department of Defense, with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's first day at the Pentagon. Hegseth, a veteran of a former Fox News host, has previously railed against what he described as quote woke ideology overtaking the military and questioned whether women should serve in combat roles. As head of the Pentagon, Hegseth has pledged to oversee a vast overhaul of the military leadership and restore a quote warrior culture in the armed forces. Hegseth overcame allegations of sexual abuse and alcoholism to be confirmed to his post by 50 Republican senators on Friday. Three Republicans, including former Senate Party leader Mitch McConnell, opposed his nomination. Building an Iron Dome. Trump's executive order to build an Iron Dome fulfills a pledge the Republican leader made on the campaign trail. The Iron Dome refers to a U.S.-funded air defense system in Israel that detects and intercepts incoming rockets. Trump had repeatedly described his desire to top Israel's Iron Dome system to his campaign for re-election in 2024. And in August broadcast on the social media platform X, which is formerly known as Twitter, he told billionaire Elon Musk that he planned to build, quote, the best Iron Dome in the world, quote. And in July, he added the Iron Dome proposal to the Republican Party's official platform. But military experts have repeatedly questioned whether a system is necessary or even feasible in the US. The system used in Israel currently only protects against relatively low power rockets and mortars. And Israel itself is only about the size of New Jersey, one of the US's smaller states. Experts say creating a similar system across the vast US mainland could be cost prohibitive, not to mention possibly ineffective given the advanced firepower and potential adversaries like Russia and China. Observers also point out that U.S. Already has missile defense programs in place, including the ground-based mid-course defense system and the terminal high-altitude area defense, otherwise known as is acronym of THAAD. The future of Trump's Iron Dome project is also unclear, as is also but assured to require funding appropriated by Congress. And he said, we protect other countries, but we don't protect ourselves, Trump said on Monday. Quote, now we have phenomenal technology. You see that with Israel, where out of 319 rockets, they knocked down just about every one of them. Well, it's not 100%, but it was a very 90 something percent or something. So I think the United States is also entitled to that, unquote. So what do you think? Is the United States entitled to that? It's up to you guys. You can come to your own conclusion. Now, before I actually conclude the review, I would like to ask your opinion about the review, namely for the two articles. The first one being RIP Windows gaming handhelds. Valve will let you install SteamOS on anything you want. And the second one is Trump announces 4 new executive orders, including to build Iron Dome. What do you think of those two articles? Are they interesting? Are they relevant to your life? And do they provide enough information for you to get sufficient understanding of what's happening in the article? You're welcome to give your opinion in the comments below, but I do ask that you keep it relevant and to keep it civil, as we're only trying to add something positive to this experience. Now, with that said, what I'd like you to do is first, with the people watching on Facebook Live, what I'd like you to do is please click the thumbs up on this video. And also for people watching this recorded on Facebook, what I'd like you to do is also click the thumbs up on this video. That way you can show that this article was valuable and interesting for people to see, as it is valuable to be informed about the uh, current events and news around the world. For all the people watching this on a recorded version on YouTube, Rumble, Dailymotion, and Vimeo, what I'd like you to do is please click like on the video. That way it'll be pushed through the algorithm and more people will be able to view it and enjoy it. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button. That way you'll have access to all the content on this channel, as I certainly do have a variety of content on this channel for you to view and enjoy. Also, if you haven't already, please click the bell button. That way you'll be notified of all my future videos. That way, when a new video of mine comes out, you won't miss it because you'll be notified accordingly. So I'd like to wish you a great day wherever you are in the world. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay tuned for more of my content. Bye for now.